So recently I was having a discussion with one of my friends and one of the best local players in Egypt, Lens. He's a legend Guile player who actually did insane in online tournaments, and check out the recent Wanted performance. By the way, he actually did beat Problem X and took the whole thing. I will leave a link to it in the pinned comment so you can check it out. Anyways, he was talking to me about this defensive option select that all of the top players are using. And as you know, in Street Fighter 6, parries and perfect parries are a huge part of the game. It's a constant mix-up, and in this channel previously I talked a lot about drive rush. Drive rush is done by holding down the parry input and then double tapping forward. However, there is also a perfect drive rush, and to do the perfect drive rush, you press forward, and with the second forward you press the parry button, and this will give you the fastest possible drive rush. Well, what is the OS? Well, if you're trying to go for a tap parry, instead go for a perfect drive rush. And I know what you will tell me, you know what? Like, if I'm trying to tap parry an attack, I should instead use a drive rush. I'm gonna get hit. But trust me, it works. You see, when you're trying to go for a perfect drive rush, if you take a look at the bottom of the screen, you will notice that there are these three purple ticks. These are parry frames, and if you happen to block an attack within these three frames, it will actually trigger a parry, and if you happen to get it within the perfect parry window, you will get the perfect parry instead. And you might be wondering, well, why would you want to use that? And let's go over some scenarios where this could be extremely powerful. Let's say that you're fighting against a character like Luke, and in this range Luke can throw a medium sand blaster or a light sand blaster to bait your parry. The idea is, if you're trying to tap parry to get the perfect parry on the fireball, if he happened to do the light, you will get a perfect drive rush, you will get the punish on him, and if he did the medium, you got the perfect parry instead. That is a very applicable scenario. Another one is the opponent, for example, going for a safe jump. Safe jumps are typically very strong in Street Fighter 6 because they guarantee pressure, and if you happen to try to wake up with an uppercut, you will get blocked, and they're common, right? So one of the common answers that people got for safe jumps is to try to perfect parry the jump, and typically you're not gonna get a punish, but you will have plus frames. However, this can easily be countered by the opponent if they went for an empty jump throw, and they will get a punish counter throw on you. And this is where this OS can come into the play. Instead of going for a tap parry on wake up, you go for a perfect drive rush. If Alki did commit indeed to the safe jump, you get the perfect parry. If she didn't, you get an instant drive rush, which means that if she happened to throw you, it will be a counter hit throw instead of a punish counter throw. And you might be wondering, well, I still got beaten, like what's the point? And I even lost more bar. And that's actually not the case. You see, when you happen to get counter hit thrown, your drive gauge does not deplete. However, if you are punished counter thrown, you do lose an entire bar of drive on this interaction, and also that throw does more damage. And it doesn't stop there, because when you happen to get counter hit thrown, your character has the option to recover backwards, which negates a lot of the throw loop situations. However, on a punish counter, the back rise option is completely locked. So for example, here with a character like Terry, he can dash up, throw you, and trust me, Cammy is waking up with a button. However, she is unable to back right. So the option on a punish counter throw in the meaty situation is that much more risky. You're losing more damage, you're losing drive, and you're getting put in a worse Oki situation. So recently I've been trying really hard to make my videos better, and your guys' feedback have been absolutely incredible. You even convinced Cammy over there to actually grace us in these videos. So thank you so much for that. If you like what you've seen but you're not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Enjoy the rest of your video. The benefits doesn't stop there as well, because as you may know in Street Fighter 6, when you initiate a drive rush, there is a screen freeze that happens. So here Chun-Li is doing a drive rush, and with Terry I'm trying to do a crouching medium punch into power wave. However, what happens sometimes is if you input your move during the screen freeze, the input will get eaten. and this might happen actually to you once you are trying to go for this OS, and the opponent input might actually get eaten, and as you can use that to your advantage. I know, like, this is extremely toxic. What I'm just saying is extremely toxic, but it happens. And I was also able to check out some replays from Mr. Crimson. Mr. Crimson is one of the best players in the world, a worldwide known Dulce player. He also is trying to experiment with some other characters as well. And if you take a look here, for example, in this instant with Kami, he was expecting a long limb normal from Dulce, and he went with this OS. Check out his input. This was a parry attempt, and he did the OS I just mentioned and happened to go for the offense. Another situation, he was using Terry, who was fighting this Akuma, and obviously this was a tap parry on wake up, and instead of going with the regular parry, he just went for the OS and he managed to turn the table on the opponent. Does this mean this option select is completely broken? Not really, because it does have its fair share of drawbacks. For starters, the biggest drawback by far is that you are drive rushing into your opponent point blank, which means that instead of the grab, if they say wanted to go for a delay button, you're eating that delay button to your face first, and you are probably getting comboed, making it a risky option in some situations if the opponent called it out. And it's also a parry attempt that is using an entire bar of your drive, but obviously if you happen to make them block the drive rush normal, you are making them lose drive as well. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. It helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter, and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe.